welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're taking a look at another survivor. We're taking a look at the engineer, and this is one of my favorite characters. I think it's most people's, top couple of characters to play, and the reason being is he's so easy to play and easy to make extremely OP. So as you can see, I just put down 2 turrets. That's his R. He can put down up to 2 turrets. Now their cooldown is extremely long. It's over 20 seconds per turret to cool down. So if you put them both down and they both die pretty quickly, you have to wait a long time. Put them down again. But the good news is they do a lot of damage, and the thing that makes the engineer so OP is that the turrets inherit all of the items that the engineer has. So if I grab a tri-tip dagger, right now they don't have a tri-tip dagger on them. They're not going to apply bleed to anybody because they can only inherit the items I have once I place them down again with the new items. So if they're already placed down, they won't inherit any new items you get, but once you place them down again, they will have all the items. And you can see in his shoulder blade, he has a tri-tip dagger sticking into him, and he will now apply bleed to people. And that's really what makes the turrets so OP, is that they inherit all the items, so you essentially have 3 characters in one. Now, the engineer has 2 types of turrets. He starts off with these turrets, which don't move. They have a decent attack speed and they hit really hard. Now, his other turrets actually walk around and follow you. They have a really short range. It's like a laser beam attack, so they attack extremely quickly. They don't hit very hard. Their main benefit is they attack really quickly. Now, the engineer's basic attack is just shooting these mines out of the top. It's a super slow attack speed. Does pretty good damage, but again, pretty inaccurate, not very long range. It's hard to hit people with them unless they're like really close to you and not moving very fast. It's really hard for him to take out wisps in the air as well. But again, his main strength is the turrets. That's where his damage comes from. That's where his accuracy comes from. Now his secondary ability are these mines. Now these are actually the mines that you can unlock with him. These are the ones he starts with. When you throw them down, they do damage if the enemy walks into them. But after a few seconds, they fully arm, and then they do a lot more damage. So if I can get this guy to walk down here with me, you can walk him into that mine. Boom, half his health right there. Walk him to the second one, and he's dead. So they do a ton of damage. They just take a while to arm. You can have up to 4 of them out at a time. So I can just kind of lace this whole area with mines. And then anyone that comes near, okay, so see that one went off without being fully armed, so it didn't do hardly any damage. So that's their one downside. They take a little bit longer to arm, but once they are armed, they do the damage. And then finally, his shift. He has 2 different shifts. The one that I have selected right now is the one you start with, is his shield. When you place it down, it blocks all incoming bullets. Now this guy died from my mine actually, but you can get this guy to shoot me before the shield goes out. Doesn't look like he's going to. But any projectiles that are coming in at you will be blocked by that shield. You can still shoot out of the shield. But any bullets coming into the shield will be blocked. So you put this down here. As you can see, they're not able to shoot me, but I am able to shoot them through the shield. So, and they, melee characters like these guys will be able to easily walk through the shield and attack me. So it's really only good for ranged enemies. Okay, so let's talk about items for a second. Now, something that most people will discover right off the bat is that, since the engineers take or accept the engineers, or since the engineer turrets, inherit all the items the engineer has, that means that if we get a fungus, which heal all nearby allies, after standing still for 2 seconds, well, these turrets don't move. So once they're standing still for 2 seconds, boom, they all of a sudden have a kill circle that never gets taken away, and now they pretty much can't die because they just have constant healing. Now they have one bustling fungus, so they're not going to heal extremely quickly, so they can definitely still die. Once you get 5, 10, 15 of these things, now you're healing for a ton of HP. It's a huge radius, and you can even do like a Venn diagram thing. Now they're still a little too short to do this now. They'll be a little too close to each other. They might start hitting each other, like you see here. But once they get bigger, it's really easy to do like a Venn diagram thing to where now they're not only healing themselves, but they're also healing each other for twice the amount. And then I can even stand in here as well and create a third circle. So now we have 3 times the healing. I can surround us with these mines to make sure that no melee characters get too close. When bullets start coming in, I can shoot the shield down to make sure we're blocking all the incoming damage. And overall, the survivability of the turrets is huge with the shield and with the bustling fungus. If you're playing the engineer and you have the turrets that don't walk around, you just have to have the bustling fungus. It's extremely OP. It makes sure that your turrets aren't going to die very quickly, and once you get enough of them, it's pretty easy to just walk in there during battle, or for your allies to walk in there during battle and heal up if they need to. So it's great for the team, but even if you're playing alone, it's required in my book to have it with the turrets. In fact, I typically, with the turrets, I won't get any other white item besides bustling fungus until I have at least 5 of them, just to make sure that there's plenty of healing and plenty of damage. Now, as far as greed items are concerned, you can pretty much just get one of everything. Because the turrets do inherit all your items, it's good to make sure they have plenty of options. So you want to get, 1 missile, 1, will-o-wisp, 1 ukulele at least, to make sure that they have the opportunity to do as much damage as possible. So now you can see my turrets are healing for a lot more. The radius is a little bit bigger, and I only have 2 of them. Got another. Let's go ahead and hit this boss, just see what happens. We have the Wandering Vagrant. Put it on my shield to block the Wandering Vagrant's attacks. Ridiculous. Now the one downside to the turrets is that you can't tell them who to attack. So if they want to attack this guy over here instead of that Vagrant right there, yeah, that's what they're going to do. Oh boy. Okay, well I survived that somehow. Now that attack that the Vagrant just did where it made that huge explosion, that can actually be blocked with the shield. It just happened to be on cooldown for me. Now, typically I would get a ukulele first, but I wanted to showcase something with the razor wire. So in the Void Realm, if you don't know where the Void Realm is, it's a secret portal you can find when you go to the blue portal. You can go to the Void Realm. Now in the Void Realm, if you're not in a certain area, you're going to be taking constant damage from the environment. 5 or 6 times a second, you'll be taking damage. Now razor wire procs when you take damage. So you put these turrets out there in the environment, they're going to out-heal the damage because they have the bustling fungus, but they will be consistently proccing the razor wire, and because of that, they're going to be doing damage to everybody around them. So if you go to that Void Realm and you have 5 bustling fungus and 1 or 2 razor wire, you basically guarantee you're going to be able to complete that Void Realm regardless of the enemies that spawn, regardless of the items that they get. It's extremely OP. And if you have the Artifact of Sacrifice on, which I don't, I just have the Artifact of Command. Artifact of Sacrifice means no chest spawn, but enemies drop items. So if you have that on, you can actually go to the Void Realm, do that setup with the bustling fungus and the razor wire, and just sit there and farm items for as long as you want, because the timer stops when you go to that place. The timer stops, so it's not getting any harder. So you can literally just sit there. You can go to the store. You can play different games. You can come back half an hour later and have a ton of items to choose from. So that's kind of a fun way to get infinite items. And I'll definitely do a video on that coming up. maybe tomorrow. I can showcase that in more detail. But before we wrap up this video, I wanted to showcase the other powers the engineer has. And again, I love the engineer. He's one of the characters that not only that I unlock everything for him, but I actually just play him all the time because of how fun he is. So he's got spider mines for secondary, he's got thermal harpoons for his utility, and he's got the TR-58 turret instead of the TR-12. And I just want to show you guys real quick what those things can do. Now these turrets, you don't have the OP bustling fungus trick you can use. However, they have an extremely high attack rate. So, you know, getting tons of on-hit items early on makes them just melt enemies. Like, they already do a ton of damage, as you can see. But when you get bleed on them, when you get missiles on them, you know, they'll proc their own missiles, doing, you know, tons of % damage to enemies. And their high attack speed makes them extremely strong. Plus, you know, with the other turrets, they're stationary, so you place them down one place, and then you have to end up moving somewhere else. You know, now you have to wait, you know, 40 or 50 seconds before you can place more down to help you defend. But with these guys, they're going to follow you on the map, so once you place them down once, you know, unless they die, or they kind of get, you know, left behind, you know, they're going to be there to help you out. Now, his right click are these spider mines. Now they arm instantly, or near instantly, and they can't be exploded early, and when enemies get close to them, they will charge to them and do, 600% damage. So, huge damage. They arm instantly, and they just chase after any nearby enemies extremely quickly. It's my favorite mine by far. The other one takes way too long to arm, and enemies have to walk into them for them to explode, where these guys will just chase after anyone nearby, basically insta-killing any basic enemy. Now his shift, while I think the shift is really cool on the engineer, his other utility ability, the shield, in my opinion, is just way too good to replace. If you hit shift, it brings up this window, and let's see if I can get some enemies to spawn somewhere else. Turrets, stay there. I need to showcase this. Where all these guys just spawn? Down here. If you hit shift and then hold left click, it'll actually start locking on these people up to 4 times. Then when you let go, it fires 4 seeking missiles to take out those enemies. If it kills the enemy you locked onto, it'll seek and find somebody else. I mean, it's really pretty awesome. They do a ton of damage. It's really great for attacking the wisps too, for the engineer, because he has a hard time with that anyway. But overall, pretty awesome power. But again, you know, the fact that the shield can just block so much damage and really, you know, save you a lot is worth more to me. So we got here a red item. One red item I like to get, you know, typically I would always get the ceremonial dagger, and it's still a great choice if you want to go with that, but the Tesla quill is also really good, because now when I place my turrets down, we have 3 Tesla coils worth of damage now. So that means that, you know, once the proc right now, there's no enemies nearby, but now it's basically the equivalent of 3 different characters having a red item, unstable Tesla coil, doing a ton of damage for 10 seconds, and it's fantastic. Whereas the ceremonial dagger, you know, having 3 ceremonial daggers, or having 3 people in the game having ceremonial daggers doesn't really do much, because they're still going to spawn the exact same amount of knives. Now I'll still get the ceremonial daggers later on when I get more red items, but starting out, Tesla coil, just to add that extra damage, is really good. Okay, so that's the engineer. Again, I'm probably going to do a tutorial on how to get basically infinite items using the command and sacrifice artifacts in the void realm with the engineer. I think it's really funny and pretty awesome. If you just want to, you know, go full god mode without hardly any work at all. So we'll showcase that later on. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss more of these videos. And leave a comment if you have any. And we will see you guys next time, hopefully tomorrow.